Susie Silook. I am mostly Siberian Yupik. My father was Siberian Yupik, and we're clan system, so you go through your father's side. So I am a member of the Aimarmgar clan of St. Lawrence Island in Siberia. And then my mother is Inupiaq and Irish, and she was sent out there to the island as an orphan, so that is my background. I first tried artwork when I was in middle school in Gamble, Alaska. There was a teacher out there that taught carving and sewing, and I was more drawn to the carving, which was traditionally a man's occupation, but my parents liked what I did immediately and encouraged me. And my mother gave me ivory and tools just in case. And I was working for the college at the time, but I moved to Anchorage, and I was wondering how I was going to make a living. And I had these pieces with me, and I decided I would try to see what I could come up with. And I started with people because, you know, the men are more aware of the animal shapes and behavior and things like that, and I knew people. So I started out with people, and I was immediately able to make a small living at it, so I kept at it and developed my style from there. I guess the fact that I'm a woman doesn't have as much of an impact on me as it does on other people, because I was raised in the 70s, and the women's movement was going on, and you know, the civil rights movements and all of that, so I had that mindset that women could do anything. And with the encouragement of my parents, thankfully, here I am today, still doing that work. The one piece that gets a lot of attention in my whole array of work is "What Does It Take for You to See My Heart?" And in 2001, a group of Native women artists and myself, we did a show, we curated it and everything. We did the whole thing ourselves because at the time there were 4 missing Native women, and a lot of sexual assault was happening, and we wanted to do something to raise awareness about that issue. So I used my own personal experience. I was sexually assaulted, and you know, we hit the front page, and the show was well received, and so probably that piece gets a lot of attention. And when I was making it, it started to remind me of Salvador Dali's The Burning Giraffe. So I went and looked at that picture, and you know, he had drawers going up and down the leg, and instead of drawers I put in ulus, which are traditional women knives, and in the back he had small penises, which represented the degradation of society. And I had on hand small walrus penis bones, so I used those in the back. And I didn't give her any eyes and no mouth because there's so much silence surrounding that issue, and it was very well received to this day. So probably that piece would be the one to get the most attention. Well, when I'm working, I start out with the motor tools because everyone uses them now for carving ivory. When I was growing up, the old men were using files, and they would do these incredible carvings with files. So I started out with a big motor tool, then I moved to the smaller motor tools, and then I started with files, you know, because this final shaping has to be done all by hand. And I file it down, and then I sand it down pretty good and do whatever inlay I'm going to do. And usually I don't polish them because sometimes if you polish it, it takes away from, it's hard to see the piece, you know, when it's really shiny, so I give it a natural finish. All of my materials come exclusively from St. Lawrence Island, and that was my home. It's where I was born and raised until I was 17. It's one of the most traditional villages in Alaska. We still retain our language, and we still hunt from the sea for our food. There aren't hardly any jobs there. So not only is it a necessity, it's a preference to live from the sea. So most of my materials are things that we've hunted for and have eaten and shared, and then we use the byproducts to make a little income. One of the things I'm trying to achieve with my artwork is to show that we still exist as a distinct cultural group, and that our culture hasn't entirely died. or been, completely colonized. And I use the ancestral forms, and I go back 2,000 years, for the dolls, because I want to see those statements perpetuated. So that's one of my goals.